The email sat on my phone like a death sentence. I stood halfway up the stairs, frozen. Below me, Taryn stared at her screen, face pale. Kyungmi's hand covered her mouth. Nobody moved. Nobody spoke. The silence was suffocating. "We need to talk," Taryn said finally. Her voice was steady, but her hand shook when she set her phone down. "Living room, now." We sat in the same formation as the first night. Them on the couch, me in the chair across. But this time, the space between us felt different. Heavier. Taryn spoke first. Her tone was clinical, detached, like she was lecturing. Title IX investigations follow a protocol. They interview all parties separately, review communications, grades, any interactions that could suggest favoritism or inappropriate conduct. If they find evidence of a relationship, we're done. All of us. Kyungmi leaned forward. "What did the email say exactly?" I pulled up the message, read it aloud. "Mandatory meeting requested. Concerns raised about professional conduct and potential violations of university policy." "Concerns raised," Taryn repeated. "That means someone filed a complaint." "Who?" I asked. "Anonymous. They don't have to reveal the source unless it goes to a formal hearing." My stomach twisted. The texts. The person who'd been watching. It had to be them. "What do we tell them?" Kyungmi asked. Taryn's jaw tightened. "The truth. Carefully." She laid it out like a strategy. I needed temporary housing after my building was sold. True. They offered their spare room as a practical solution. True. There is no romantic relationship. Lie. We rehearsed answers, kept them simple, consistent, made sure our stories aligned. "What if they ask about the kiss?" I said quietly. Silence. "They won't," Taryn said. "They don't know about that. No one does." "Unless someone saw," Kyungmi said. "No one saw. It happened here, inside." But her voice didn't sound certain. "Starting now," Taryn continued, "we maintain absolute distance, no physical contact, no private conversations, minimal interaction even at home. We have to become strangers again." I looked at Kyungmi. She wouldn't meet my eyes. "Until this is over," Taryn added. "We survive the investigation, then we figure out what comes next." If there was a next. I didn't sleep that night. I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, listening to the house. Footsteps in the hallway, a door closing, water running somewhere. They weren't sleeping either. The kiss felt like it had happened in another lifetime. Another version of us that didn't exist anymore. I wanted to go downstairs, wanted to say something, anything, but I couldn't. The rules were clear: distance, survival, lies. Monday morning, I left early, walked to campus instead of waiting for a ride I knew wouldn't be offered. Taryn's seminar started at 10. I arrived 5 minutes late, slipped into the back row. She didn't look up, didn't acknowledge me. I'd sat in the third row for weeks, she noticed. I knew she did, but she kept lecturing like I wasn't there. "Narrative structure," she said, writing on the board, "depends on what remains unseen. The gaps between what's shown and what's hidden create tension." Her voice was steady, professional, empty. After class, I packed my bag slowly, watched other students cluster around her desk asking questions. She answered patiently, gave them the attention she used to give me. When the room cleared, she looked at me, just once, then left. The Title IX office was on the 3rd floor of the administration building. Sterile, beige walls, fluorescent lights, uncomfortable chairs. Taryn arrived first, sat 3 seats away from me in the waiting area. Didn't say a word. Kyungmi came next, took the chair on the opposite side. We sat like strangers. A woman in a gray suit called us in separately. I went last. Her office was small, no windows. She gestured to a chair across from her desk. "I'm Officer Brennan. I oversee compliance investigations. Do you know why you're here?" The email said concerns about professional conduct. Correct. We received an anonymous report suggesting potential impropriety between yourself and Dr. Shin and Dr. Jang. specifically regarding your living arrangement and possible favoritism in academic evaluation. My throat went dry. What kind of impropriety? The complainant expressed concern about a student residing with faculty members and potential conflicts of interest. My landlord sold the building. I needed a place quickly. They offered to help temporarily. And when did this housing situation arise? 3 weeks ago. I got the notice and didn't have time to find something affordable. She wrote something down. Had you visited their residence prior to moving in? My heart stopped. Once. To see the room and discuss the arrangement. And your relationship with them outside of class before this housing situation? I thought about the courthouse, the certificate, the night we all sat in their living room trying to figure out how to survive this. Professional, I said. They're my professors. I'm in both their courses. No social interactions? Private meetings? No, nothing inappropriate. Have either of them shown you favoritism in grading or academic opportunities? No, if anything, Professor Shin is harder on me than other students. That was true. She'd been careful, maybe too careful. She asked more questions. I answered steadily, stuck to the script. When it was over, she stood. We've found no concrete evidence of misconduct at this time. However, we'll be monitoring the situation closely. Any further concerns will trigger a full investigation. I strongly advise maintaining clear professional boundaries. Of course, I walked out. My hands were shaking. Taerin and Kyungmi were already gone. Campus felt different after that. Every glance felt loaded. Every conversation felt watched. A classmate stopped me after Kyungmi's workshop. Hey, you okay? You seem off lately. I'm fine. Professor Jang seemed stressed today too. She kept losing her train of thought. I forced a smile. Finals are coming up. Everyone's stressed. But my chest was tight when I walked away. That night I stayed in my room, heard them talking downstairs. Low voices, tense. I wanted to join them, wanted to know what they were saying, but I couldn't. The house felt like a prison now. Beautiful, expensive, suffocating. Around 11, my phone buzzed. Unknown number. My stomach dropped. The message loaded. You can fool the school, but you can't fool me. I know what's happening. I'll keep watching. I stared at the screen. What did they know? What had they seen? I went downstairs, found them both in the living room. Kyungmi on the couch. Taerin standing by the window. I got another text, I said. They both turned. I showed them my phone. Taerin read it twice, her jaw tightened. Same number as before? Yes. Kyungmi stood. What do they think they know? I don't know, but they're still watching. Or they're bluffing, Taerin said. She handed my phone back. Trying to scare us. It's working. Kyungmi touched my arm, just briefly, then pulled back like she'd been burned. We need to be more careful. Curtains, windows, make sure there's no way anyone can see inside. You think someone's been spying? My voice cracked. I think someone wants us paranoid, Taerin said, and it's working. But she walked to the window anyway, pulled the curtain tighter. The next few days were careful, controlled. We checked windows, closed curtains, made sure every blind was drawn before we talked. No more texts came. The silence felt worse somehow. But slowly, the fear faded. We started to breathe again. A week passed, then another. Nothing happened. Maybe Taerin was right. Maybe it was just someone trying to scare us. Maybe it was over. Then Taerin got the email. I was in the kitchen when she came downstairs, phone in hand, face different, lighter. I got tenure, she said. Kyungmi looked up from her laptop. What? The review committee approved it, it's official. Silence. Then Kyungmi stood and pulled Taerin into a hug. I watched from across the room, felt the ache of being separate. Taerin's eyes found mine over Kyungmi's shoulder. Something passed between us. Relief, gratitude, hope. We should celebrate, Kyungmi said. Taerin hesitated. We should be careful. We've been careful for weeks. The investigation closed. No one's texted. We survived. Kyungmi smiled. Let's have one night where we're not afraid. Taerin looked at me. What do you think? I think she's right. That evening we sat in the back garden. Small, private, enclosed by brick walls and tall hedges. Kyungmi brought wine. Taerin brought glasses. I brought nothing but the weight I'd been carrying for weeks. The night was cool, clear, stars visible despite the city lights. To survival, Kyungmi said, raising her glass. To tenure, I added. Taerin smiled, actually smiled. To making it through the impossible. We drank. The wine was good. Better than anything I'd ever tasted. We talked about small things first. Classes, students, the weather, then bigger things. The annulment hearing is in 6 weeks, Taerin said quietly. I know. I looked down at my glass. I've been saving, looking at apartments. You don't have to rush, Kyungmi said. I can't stay here forever. We could help, Taerin offered, financially, with the deposit of first month's rent. Something in my chest cracked. Why would you do that? Kyungmi leaned forward. Because we care about you. You barely know me. That's not true, Taerin said. Her voice was soft. Not anymore. The air shifted. I felt it before I understood it. Kyungmi's hand found mine, warm, steady. Taerin moved closer. Her knee brushed mine. We shouldn't, I whispered. I know, Kyungmi said, but she didn't let go. The wine had made everything softer. The fear, the rules, the distance we'd been forcing. I don't want to leave, I admitted. Not really. Then don't, Taerin said. Her hand cupped my face, gentle, certain. Kyungmi leaned in, her breath warm against my skin. Just tonight, I said, just this once. Just tonight, Kyungmi echoed. Then she kissed me. Taerin's hand slid to my waist, pulled me closer. I was caught between them, warm, safe, wanted. For the first time in weeks, I wasn't afraid. Then the flash went off. Bright, blinding, cutting through the darkness like a knife. We froze. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. My hands shook as I opened it. The photo loaded, clear, undeniable, all 3 of us. Kissing. Another text. Got you. The whole school is going to know what you really are. Taerin grabbed my phone. Her face went white. She typed fast. What do you really want from us? 3 dots appeared. Then the response. I want the truth exposed. Students deserve to know what kind of professors they have. This is wrong and I won't let you get away with it. Kyungmi's hand covered her mouth. Another message came through. But I'll give you one chance, one condition, and this photo stays private. My fingers trembled as I typed. What condition? The response was immediate. Meet me, tomorrow 4 p.m. An address followed. A coffee shop 2 blocks from campus. Come alone, Sarah. Just you. Don't bring them. Or I send this to everyone. I stared at the screen. They had us. And I had no choice. I didn't sleep. I lay in bed staring at the photo on my phone. Over and over. The 3 of us. Caught. Undeniable. At dawn, Taerin knocked softly on my door. We're coming with you. No. Sierra, they said come alone. If I don't, the photo goes public. Silence. Then her footsteps retreating down the hall. I got dressed. My hands wouldn't stop shaking. The coffee shop was 2 blocks from campus. Small. Quiet. I arrived at 4 exactly. She was already there. Sitting in the back corner, arms crossed, waiting. I froze in the doorway. It was her. The girl from Kyungmi's workshop. The one who'd leaned over and whispered about Professor Jang looking at me differently. The one I'd thought was a friend. She saw me, gestured to the empty chair across from her. I walked over, sat. My throat was dry. Hi, Sierra, she said. Her voice was cold. Why are you doing this? Doing what? Telling the truth? We haven't done anything wrong. She laughed, sharp, bitter. You're sleeping with our professors, plural, and you think that's not wrong? It's not like that. Then what's it like? She leaned forward. Explain to me how living in their house, kissing them in their garden, isn't exactly what it looks like. I couldn't answer. That's what I thought. She sat back. You know what the worst part is? I actually tried to be your friend. I invited you to study groups, asked if you wanted coffee. And the whole time you had them all to yourself, living in their house, getting whatever help you wanted whenever you wanted it. I wasn't. Don't lie to me. Her eyes were hard. I saw the way they look at you, the way you look at them. Everyone sees it, but nobody wants to say it out loud. My chest tightened. What do you want? I want you gone. The words hit like a slap. What? You heard me. Leave their house. Today. Cut all contact except what's required for class. Disappear from their lives. I can't just. Yes, you can. She pulled out her phone, showed me the photo again. Or this goes to everyone. Title 9. The Dean. Every group chat on campus. Your choice. Tears burned my eyes. I have nowhere to go. My lease is gone. I can't afford another place right now. That's your problem, not mine. Please, you have until tomorrow. Her voice was flat, final. And Sierra, don't tell them who I am. I stared at her. If you tell them, I'll know. I'll see it in how they look at me during class. One wrong glance and the photo goes viral, understand? I nodded, couldn't speak. Good, she stood. Make the right choice. She left. I sat there alone, tears streaming down my face. The coffee shop hummed around me. Normal, oblivious. My world was ending and no one noticed. I walked for an hour, aimless, crying. My aunt's place was in Brooklyn, an hour by subway, maybe more during rush hour, early morning commutes, late nights, exhaustion. But I had no choice. I had to go. The photo couldn't go out. It would destroy them, destroy everything. I turned toward the brownstone, started walking faster. I went straight to my room, pulled out boxes, started throwing things inside, clothes, books, the few belongings I'd unpacked weeks ago. Everything blurred through tears, footsteps on the stairs, fast. The door opened. Taerin stood there. Kyungmi right behind her. What are you doing? Taerin's voice was sharp. Scared. Packing. Why? The person. My voice broke. They told me to leave, by tomorrow, or the photo goes out. Kyungmi stepped inside. Who is it? Who are they? I shook my head, kept packing. Sierra. Taerin grabbed my wrist, gently. Tell us. I can't. Why not? Because they'll know. I pulled away. They said if I tell you they'll see it, in how you look at them in class. And they'll release everything. Taerin's face went pale. Someone we teach? I didn't answer. That was answer enough. Where are you going? Kyungmi asked quietly. My aunt's. Brooklyn. That's over an hour away. I know. We can help you find a place closer, Taerin said. Pay the deposit, first month's rent, whatever you need. No. Sierra. No. I turned to face them. This has to be over, now. I don't want your money. I don't want your help. I just want... My voice cracked. That photo can't go out. It can't. It will destroy all of us. So you're just leaving? Kyungmi's eyes were wet. I have to. I went back to packing. Faster. Harder. Taerin tried to touch my shoulder. I flinched away. Don't. Please don't. The room was silent except for my breathing. My hands shoving things into bags. The photo can't go out. It can't. It can't. Nothing else mattered. 20 minutes later, I stood at the front door, bags in hand, boxes at my feet. Taerin and Kyungmi watched from the top of the stairs. I couldn't look at them. If I looked, I'd break. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. Smart choice. Now stay away from them. I'll be watching. I opened the door. Cold air hit my face. Sierra, Kyungmi said, her voice barely audible. I stepped outside. The door closed behind me. I was alone again. The apartment smelled like old cooking oil and children's laundry. I stood in the doorway of my aunt's place, bags at my feet, and remembered exactly why I'd avoided asking her for help. The space was tiny, cluttered, 3 kids under 10 running around screaming, toys everywhere, no privacy, no air. My aunt appeared from the kitchen, wiping her hands on a dish towel. Her face shifted from surprise to concern. "Sierra, what are you doing here?" "My building was sold," I said. My voice sounded flat, empty. "I needed a place to stay." She pulled me into a hug. I stood there stiffly, didn't know how to respond. "Of course you can stay. How long do you need?" "I don't know, until I figure something out." She showed me the couch. Living room, middle of everything, no door, no walls. "It's not much, but it's yours." I nodded, set my bags down. This was my life now. The first night, I didn't sleep. The kids woke up twice. The couch was lumpy. The subway rumbled beneath the building every 20 minutes. My phone sat on the floor beside me. Screen dark. 17 unread messages. All from them. I didn't open any of them. Days blurred together. I didn't go to class. Couldn't. The thought of sitting in their rooms, pretending I was just another student, made my chest tighten until I couldn't breathe. My aunt noticed on day 4. "Why aren't you going to school?" "I'm not feeling well." "For 4 days?" I didn't answer. She sat down beside me on the couch, moved a stuffed animal out of the way. "Sierra, what's really going on?" Something in her voice broke through. I started crying. Not quiet tears. Deep, shaking sobs that came from somewhere I'd been holding closed for weeks. She pulled me against her shoulder. Didn't ask questions. Just waited. When I could finally speak, I told her. The courthouse, the marriage certificate, living with my professors, the blackmail, having to leave. I didn't mention the kiss. Didn't mention the photo. Some things were too raw to say out loud. When I finished, she was quiet for a long time. "You can't hide forever," she said finally. "I know. You still have to finish your degree. Face this. I can't sit in their classes. I can't look at them and pretend—" My voice broke. "Pretend what?" I closed my eyes. "That I don't feel anything." She squeezed my hand. "Maybe the problem isn't pretending. Maybe it's that you're trying to run from the truth." "What truth?" "That you care about them. Maybe more than you want to admit." I pulled away. "It doesn't matter. It's over." "Is it?" I didn't answer. But that night I couldn't stop thinking about her words. About the way Kyungmi had looked at me when I left. The way Taerin's voice had cracked when she said my name. About the fact that I'd been checking my phone obsessively even though I refused to respond. I was in love. With them. Both of them. And I had no idea what to do about it. 2 weeks later, I went back to campus. I walked into Kyungmi's workshop 15 minutes late. Every head turned. I slid into my usual seat, kept my eyes down. Someone leaned over, whispered, "Oh, look at you. You look really depressed, like you lost something important." I looked up. The classmate, smiling, cruel. I turned away. Kyungmi's voice faltered mid-sentence when she saw me. Just for a second. Then she continued, but her eyes kept finding mine. I couldn't look back. Taerin's seminar was worse. She stood at the front of the room, composed as always, but I saw the tightness in her jaw, the way her hand gripped the marker too hard. When class ended, I was the first one out the door. I made it halfway to the subway before I changed direction. My feet carried me to their street, their house. I stood on the steps, hand hovering over the doorbell. This was a mistake. I should leave, but I rang it anyway. Taerin opened the door. Her eyes widened. "Sierra." "I can't do this anymore." The words tumbled out. "I can't sit in your classes and pretend. I can't ignore your messages. I can't—" My voice broke. "I think I've fallen in love with you, both of you, and I don't know how to go back to normal." She stared at me, then stepped aside. "Come inside." Kyungmi was in the kitchen. She turned when she heard my voice. Froze. Saera. I'm sorry, I said. I'm sorry I left. I'm sorry I didn't respond. We were worried. Kyungmi's voice was soft. You stopped coming to class, stopped answering. We didn't know if you were okay. I wasn't. Taran closed the door behind me. Are you now? No. I looked between them. But I couldn't stay away anymore. We feel the same, Kyungmi said quietly. What? It hasn't been easy, Taran added. Losing you, not knowing where you were, if you were safe. Tears burned my eyes. I can't stay. You know I can't. Then why did you come? Because I needed you to know that it wasn't nothing. That I couldn't finish. Kyungmi crossed the room, pulled me into a hug. I broke, sobbed against her shoulder while Taran stood watching, her own eyes wet. I have to go, I said eventually. It's late. The trains. Stay tonight, Taran said. Leave in the morning. I can't. Please. Kyungmi's voice was barely audible. Just tonight. I was too tired to argue. Morning came too soon. I stood at the door, bag in hand. They walked me out. We'll figure this out, Kyungmi said. How? I don't know, but we will. Taran touched my hand. Just briefly. My phone buzzed. Unknown number. My stomach dropped. I opened it. You should have listened to me. Another message. A screenshot. The photo. Our photo. Posted in a group chat. Then another. And another. Student. Groups. Campus pages. Everywhere. All three of our phones started buzzing at once. Emails, texts, calls, Title IX, the dean's office, colleagues. I watched the notifications flood my screen. Looked up at them. Taran's face had gone white. Kyungmi was shaking. No, I whispered. No, no, no. But it was already too late. Everyone knew. The photo was everywhere. And our lives were unraveling in real time. The notifications wouldn't stop. We stood frozen at the door. 3 phones buzzing, vibrating, lighting up with message after message. The photo was everywhere. Taran pulled us back inside, locked the door. Her hands were shaking. We need to think, she said. Her voice was steady, but her face had gone white. Before we respond to anyone. Kyungmi's phone rang, the dean's office. She declined the call. Mine buzzed again, group chat notification, then another, then 5 more. I opened one. The photo, clear, undeniable, all 3 of us in the garden, kissing. Below it, comments were flooding in. I knew it! This is so messed up. They should be fired. Poor girl probably had no choice. My stomach turned. They think you manipulated me, I whispered. Let them think whatever they want, Taran said. But her jaw was tight. Kyungmi sat down on the couch, put her head in her hands. It's over. Everything we built. Gone. Not everything, Taran said quietly. She looked at me. I looked back. We still had each other, even if that was all we had left. An email came through. Title IX, marked urgent, immediate meeting required, tomorrow morning. 9 a.m. All 3 parties must attend. Legal representation advised. They'll investigate, Taran said. Go through everything, grades, communications, the living arrangement. And they'll find the marriage certificate, Kyungmi added. Silence. I'd almost forgotten. The one thing we'd never told anyone. The legal document proving this wasn't just an affair. It was stranger, more complicated, more impossible to explain. We have to tell them first, I said. Before they find it. Tell them what? Kyungmi asked. That we accidentally got married and then fell in love? That sounds insane. It is insane. I looked between them. But it's the truth. Taran nodded slowly. She's right. We control the narrative, or it controls us. We spent the next 2 hours drafting an email, sat at the dining table, wrote, deleted, rewrote, explained the courthouse error, the marriage certificate, the living arrangement, the relationship that developed. We didn't sugarcoat it, didn't make excuses, just told the truth. When we finished, Taryn's finger hovered over send. Once this goes out, there's no taking it back. There's already no taking it back, Kyungmi said softly. I reached across the table, took both their hands. Together, I said. Taryn hit send. We didn't sleep, sat in the living room as the sky went from black to gray, talking, not talking, just being together. What happens to you? Kyungmi asked me around dawn. If they expel you... They won't, Taryn interrupted. You didn't do anything wrong. I kissed my professors. We kissed you, she corrected. We're the ones with power. We're the ones who'll pay. The guilt was crushing. This is my fault. I came back. I shouldn't have... Don't! Kyungmi's voice was sharp. Don't do that. We chose this, all of us. But your careers are just careers, Taryn said quietly. We'll survive losing them. We wouldn't survive losing you. I started crying, couldn't help it. They held me until the sun came up. We walked to campus together, for the first time, publicly. Students stared, whispered. A few took photos. I wanted to hide, run. But Taryn's hand brushed mine, just briefly, a reminder. We kept walking. The conference room was cold, sterile. The dean sat at one end of the table, Title IX officer beside him, a lawyer I didn't recognize. We sat on the other side, together. The dean opened a folder. We've received your email and confirmed the marriage certificate with county records. It was a clerical error, Taryn said. So you've stated. However, the relationship that followed was not an error. Silence. Dr. Shin, Dr. Jang, you engaged in a romantic and physical relationship with a student under your direct instruction. You violated university policy, you violated professional ethics, and you violated the trust placed in you as educators. Each word landed like a blow. We know, Kyungmi said quietly. We're not denying it. The dean looked at me. Ms. Huang, did either professor coerce you, pressure you, offer academic benefits in exchange for this relationship? No, I said immediately. Never. If anything, Professor Shin graded me harder than other students. That doesn't change the power dynamic. I know. But I need you to understand. I wanted this. I chose this. You're a student. They're faculty. Choice becomes complicated in that context. I opened my mouth to argue. Taryn's hand touched my knee under the table. A warning. The Title IX officer spoke next. How was the photograph obtained? I took a breath. Classmate. From Professor Jang's workshop. She'd been following me, texting me threats for weeks. She took the photo from outside the house, then blackmailed me. Said if I didn't leave, she'd release it. The dean frowned. Do you have evidence of this? I pulled out my phone, showed them the texts, the threats, the photos she'd sent. The lawyer leaned forward. This is harassment, stalking, potentially criminal. We'll investigate that separately, the dean said, but it doesn't change the ethics violations. He looked at Taryn and Kyungmi. Dr. Shin, you're being given the option to resign rather than face termination proceedings. Dr. Jang, your contract is terminated effective immediately. Kyungmi's breath hitched. Your academic reputations are damaged, he continued. Future teaching positions will be difficult. You'll likely need to pursue work outside traditional academia. And me? I asked. You're not expelled, but you're on academic probation. You'll complete your degree remotely. You won't return to campus, and this violation will remain on your record. Remote. Alone. Finishing school from my aunt's couch while everyone talked about me. There's one more thing, the dean said. The marriage. It must be annulled immediately. We know, Taryn said. Her voice was hollow. Then we're done here. We stood. Walked out. The hallway felt endless. That night, the classmate was expelled. Issued a restraining order. Criminal charges filed. But it didn't matter. The damage was done. We stood at the door again, where it all started. I have to go, I said. Stay, Kyungmi whispered. I can't. Not anymore. The annulment papers came 2 weeks later. We signed them in silence. Then I left. Didn't look back. 6 months later, my phone rang. Unknown number. I almost didn't answer. Saera? Kyungmi's voice, soft, uncertain. Can we meet? My heart stopped. Taran's with me. We need to see you. I should have said no. But I didn't. The coffee shop was quiet. They sat in the corner. I walked over, sat down. They looked different, softer, less guarded. Hi, Kyungmi said. Hi. We're not professors anymore, Taran said. I work in publishing. Kyungmi freelances. We rebuilt. That's good. Silence. We never stopped thinking about you, Kyungmi said finally. Never stopped. Loving you, Taran finished. My chest tightened. The annulment ended the legal marriage, Kyungmi continued, but it didn't end what we feel. Why are you telling me this? Because we want to try again, Taran said. No power imbalance, no scandal, just 3 people choosing each other, freely. I looked at them, the 2 women who'd cost me everything, the 2 women I'd never stopped loving. Yes, I whispered. I reached across the table, took both their hands. Yes, let's try again. We left the coffee shop holding hands. All 3 of us, in public. For the first time without fear, no students watching, no scandal waiting, just 3 people who'd chosen each other. The freedom felt surreal. The brownstone looked exactly the same. Red brick, black door. The garden where everything had fallen apart. Taran unlocked the door, held it open. I stepped inside. 6 months. It had been 6 months since I'd walked out of this house. Everything was familiar. The polished floors, the bookshelves, the faint scent of jasmine. But different too. Lighter somehow. We stood in the living room, awkward, uncertain. 6 months of separation sat between us like a wall. Wine? Kyungmi offered. Her voice was soft, careful. I nodded. She disappeared into the kitchen, came back with 3 glasses and a bottle. We sat on the couch, closer than strangers. Not as close as we used to be. Tell me about the 6 months, I said. Kyungmi went first, talked about losing her job. The fear, the shame, then finding freelance work, editing manuscripts, building something new. Taran followed, her resignation, the forced exit from academia, the publishing house that took a chance on her. Then they both looked at me. I finished my degree, I said quietly. From my aunt's couch. Took every class online, graduated without walking, without anyone knowing my name. We're proud of you, Taran said. Are you? My voice cracked. I destroyed your careers. No. Kyungmi's hand found mine. We made our choices, and we'd make them again. I tried to move on, I admitted, told myself it was for the best, that I should forget, build a new life. I looked down, but I couldn't. Every morning I woke up thinking about you, both of you. I wasn't moving on, I was just waiting. We tried too, Kyungmi said softly. Told ourselves we'd be fine, that we had each other, that it was enough. She glanced at Taran. But it wasn't. You weren't just someone we lost. You were the piece that made us whole. Taran nodded. Every day we talked about you, wondered if you were okay, if you thought about us, if there was any chance. Her voice broke. We never stopped wanting you back. The air shifted. Kyungmi set her wineglass down, turned to face me. I missed you, she whispered, every single day. Her hand lifted, cupped my face, just like before. But this time, no fear, no audience, no consequences, just us. She kissed me, soft, slow. 6 months of longing in one touch. I felt Taran move closer. Her hand slid to my waist. Is this okay? She asked against my ear. Yes. More than okay. We tangled together on the couch, hands finding familiar places, mouths relearning the taste of each other. Nothing frantic, nothing desperate, just intentional, present. Come upstairs, Taran said. She stood, offered her hand. I took it. Their bedroom was exactly how I'd imagined. Clean lines, soft lighting, a space I'd never been allowed to enter before. Until now. Kyungmi closed the door behind us. We undressed each other slowly, reverently, hands trembling slightly. Not from fear, from anticipation. Skin against skin. 3 bodies learning each other without shame. Kyungmi's softness, Taerin's control. Me caught between them exactly where I wanted to be. "Tell me what you want," Kyungmi whispered. "You, both of you. You have us." Mouths and hands explored. Pleasure built slowly, deliberately. They checked in constantly. "Is this good?" "Yes." "Tell me if it's too much." "It's perfect." The intimacy wasn't just physical. It was trust made tangible. Safety and vulnerability. When the tension finally crested and broke, we held each other through it. Names whispered like prayers, breathless, overwhelmed, complete. We collapsed together, tangled in sheets. No one spoke for a long time, just breathing, feeling the weight and warmth of being together. Finally, I whispered it, the words I'd been too afraid to say before. "I love you." Kyungmi's response was immediate. "I love you too." Taerin's voice cracked. "I love you, both of you." I closed my eyes. Let the words sink in. We fell asleep like that, wrapped around each other, safe, free, home. Morning light woke me. I was still tangled between them. Kyungmi's arm across my waist, Taerin's hand in my hair. I didn't want to move. Eventually, Kyungmi stirred, opened her eyes, smiled. "Morning." "Morning." "Stay for breakfast?" "Yes." The kitchen felt different in daylight. Domestic, easy. Taerin made coffee, Kyungmi cooked eggs. I sat at the island watching them move around each other with practiced familiarity. They'd built a life here, without me. Now they were making space for me in it. "What happens now?" I asked. Taerin set a mug in front of me. "What do you want to happen?" "I start my new job next month, across town." "We'll figure out the logistics," Kyungmi said. "Train schedules, weekends, whatever works." "Or," Taerin said carefully, "you could stay here." I looked up. "What?" "Move in, officially. Not because you have to, because we want you to." My throat tightened. "Are you sure?" "We've never been more sure of anything," Kyungmi said. I thought about my aunt's couch, the cramped apartment, the hour-long commute. Then I thought about this. Them. Mornings like this. "Yes," I said, "but let me do it right. Pack my things properly. Tie up loose ends. Move in next week." "Next week," Taerin agreed. "The right way this time," Kyungmi added. We smiled, knowing there was no rush, no emergency, just 3 people building something intentional. Later, when I had to leave, they walked me to the door. "Tomorrow?" Kyungmi asked. "Tomorrow. Dinner?" "We'll cook." Taerin kissed my forehead. "Text when you get home." "I will." I walked down the steps, looked back. They stood in the doorway, watching, smiling. I pulled out my phone, opened our group chat, typed, "I'm home." Then added, "P.S. Think we should make it legal again someday? 3rd time's the charm." 2 responses came immediately. Kyungmi, "Yes." Taerin, "Absolutely yes." I laughed, kept walking. Someday we'd go back to that courthouse, but this time it would be our choice. No accidents, no mistakes, just 3 people who loved each other choosing to make it real. I didn't know what the future held, but I knew who I wanted to face it with, and that was enough. The end. They told me love like this doesn't exist, that forbidden meant wrong, that scandal meant the end. They were right about one thing. It cost us everything, our careers, our reputations, our carefully built lives. But standing here 6 months later with their hands in mine and no more secrets between us, I'd pay that price again, 1,000 times over. Because some loves don't ask for permission. They just ask if you're brave enough to choose them anyway. We were. And we did. Like, if you believe love is worth the risk, comment your favorite moment. Which scene hit you hardest? Subscribe for more, because everyone deserves a love story that refuses to play it safe. 3 hearts. 1 impossible love. 0 regrets. Thank you.